All right, so Friday night race two. Race one was really, really good. We had Jon Snow pulling out a win. He seemed to manage his tires better than everybody else, and John had a really good car for this track. He seemed to be very consistent and seemed to not stress his tires as much as some of the other guys did. Um, he managed to qualify in fourth for the first race and this race. Kyle Macedo is in third. Roman is in first. David Macedo, once again, just like in the first race, will start in second, and he was really fast the entire night. Andrew Marchician is going to come in at fifth, and Mike Doherty is going to come in at sixth, followed by Claudius Harding in seventh place. So these guys, there's not a lot of us that were able to make it to the races tonight, but these guys, they put on a really good show in the first race. Some really tight racing throughout the pack, and everybody was really impressive. So we're hoping for a good race here in the second race, and it seems like the longer this group of guys races together, the better the racing gets. So we hope to see something impressive tonight. So we're looking at Vroman, who's in first place. But Vroman has had a horrible time with tires on this track. In the first race, he was in the lead, but his tires were really going away bad for him. And by the end of the race, he had nothing he could do to keep Jon Snow from taking the win from him. John, his tires were much, much better at the end of the race, and he came all the way from fourth place all the way up to win the race. So that's where we're coming into this second race. So we're going to see where we're at now. You can see everybody nice and spread out, trying to warm up their brakes and warm up their tires before the start of the race. Something to keep an eye on, Vroman did not get a very good start in the first race. He had a slow start, and Kyle Macedo, who was right behind him, had a really good start. So that could be a recipe for disaster for Jay if he has another slow start here. David Macedo, on the other hand, had a fantastic start in the first race and quickly took the lead. Was later had a mechanical failure where his pedal, his gas pedal, quit working and was forced to take some time in the pits until he got it figured out. But more mechanical failures in our league races here. We've seen, I don't think I've ever seen so many mechanical failures in sim racing in my life. But hopefully we can get all this stuff sorted before the championship starts next week. So So you see everybody, getting ready for the race. These guys already ran one race together tonight. It was very, very close. So they know it's going to be close again. You can imagine the nerves, knowing that everybody on the whole track is only separated by maybe a second and a half. It's pretty fun to watch for me. I get to just sit back and watch it, but it's definitely stressful for these guys trying to run that close for a full 30-minute race. And then, of course, Saturday night they're going to be running a full hour race here. Tonight we don't have any mandatory pit stops. It's a full 30 minutes. So guys are running tires that are almost 20 laps old by the end, which on this track is pretty old. It's pretty rough. I think in our first race we did about 18 laps, so we expect to do about the same thing here. in the second race. You can see everybody forming up, getting ready for the start. Excuse me. So they're coming down the line here. And there you see the green flag. So here we are, we're racing. Jay gets a better start this time, but Kyle Macedo is still all over him. Kyle can't make up his mind if he wants to be inside or outside going into the first turn. You see Jay takes it way inside, and David Macedo easily takes the lead from him. He's still got a much better start. David has been on fire this entire night. So, interested to see if he can pull off his first win with us here tonight on what has proven to be a really tough track for tires. These guys have all struggled with tires. You can see the pack, just how close everybody is. First and second are close, and then third through sixth are all really, really close. I have to say, these guys, you know, first lap is typically where everybody makes big mistakes and big wrecks happen. Oh, you see Roman get the inside there, and David falls in behind him. You see Andrew Marchician, keep calling him Andrew, Andre Marchician. You see him running up in fourth, trying to run down Kyle Macedo. That's faster than he's been the whole night, so that's a little bit of a surprise. He's running really tight with these guys. And you see Mike Doherty and John Snow battling it out behind him. Snow's all over Doherty. Doherty traditionally has slow starts for the first couple laps and then gets you in the end. That seems to be his racing style. So you see Claudius coming along behind everybody. He's not too far behind either. One mistake and he's going to take some positions. So it's nice and tight. Everybody's spaced out a little bit of room just to get into your race, get into your, you know, race pace. You got to figure out what your race pace is. Try not to cook your tires. Try not to overdrive the car. But at the same time, keep the guy that's behind you behind you. So you see these guys are all looking really good coming through here. Roman nice and clean through there. Coming up the hill. You see John Snow, our race winner for the last race. He's in sixth right now. But last race, he was really good on those worn tires. When everybody else started to slow down really bad, he found a lot of speed, or at least maintained a lot of speed that he already had. And we know Mike Doherty is very similar. You know, as the race goes on, Mike seems to get faster and faster while everybody else slows down. So fifth and sixth, those guys, they're going to be in the hunt by the end of the race. You can be sure of that. So you see Roman pulling a little bit of a gap on David Macedo right now. Let's take a look on board with Kyle. So Kyle Macedo running in third. He's behind his brother David Macedo, and he's got Andre Marchician behind him. Coming through there, he picks up a little bit of time on his brother. David has been really fast ever since he switched to the Bentley. He was initially in the McLaren, but he switched to the Bentley last week, and ever since then, he showed a lot of speed and consistency. More so than the speed, he showed more consistency throughout a long race, and it really showed up, and it's showing up tonight. He's looking really good running in second. He's just got to try to catch up to Roman and see if he can do anything with him. Alright, so let's take a look at Marchician. Oh, Marchician's being challenged by Doherty. You see Doherty on the left there. Marchession's held to the inside here. Going to have to take this turn kind of tight. That's going to cost him some speed. Doherty's going to make it stick. He's going to come around the left side and be able to take the position. You see Snow take a look there on the inside, but he thinks better of it and backs out. So Andre, he's driving his tail off right now, but some of these guys that are around him are really, really fast. So he's got quite a challenge ahead of him. You can see Kyle and David Macedo are both making up time on the leader. So Jay's out front. You know, he was really fast last race, but as the race went on, his tires kind of failed him, and we're going to see what happens in this race. All right, let's get back to the TV cameras here. So Kyle, working on his brother David, trying to get second. We got Mike Doherty up into fourth, and we got Andre Marchession holding on to fifth, and John Snow trying to get past him. You see how tight John Snow's car is coming through that turn right there. His setup is really, really good for this track. He's got a great setup. He's not struggling, you know, to keep the car right on the apex in pretty much every turn. Showed a lot of good speed in the first race, so we expect great things from him here. So let's jump back up to Vroman here. And Vroman, we missed something. Vroman is in third place right now. Let's go back and see what happened to Jay. Oh boy, he's off the track. Alright, so Jay's in the lead, followed by David Macedo, followed by Kyle Macedo. We're on lap 4. Oh, and he almost loses it. Rear end came around. He's able to get back on the track without any incident, but falls back to third place. And yeah, that's unfortunate. Still plenty of time though. A lot of laps left in this race. He can maybe make up that position. Let's take a look at that battle for first real quick. So we got Kyle, who's all over David Macedo. Wow, he's really, really on him right now. Some really good racing by both of these guys. You see Kyle, gets a little loose right there, able to hold it together. He's doing a really good job of keeping the pressure on David, but so far tonight, the pressure hasn't really affected David. He's been really, really good when he's in front of people. He's had a lot of pressure on him in both races, but he hasn't really folded, so. See these guys getting back into the throttle right past the apex of that turn there. It's amazing to me how all of these guys running different cars with different setups and different levels of driver experience are able to run so close neck and neck and neck like this. Now you see Mike Doherty's on the back door of Jay Vroman, who's catching up to Kyle Macedo. Looks like David might be holding up the train a little bit here. Everybody's kind of tightening up behind him. But I don't know how you're going to pass him because he's running a great race so far. You see Kyle look down the inside on this long straight here. Coming down. He's able to pull it off. Good move by Kyle right there. So probably a move that's much easier to make with 4 laps on your tires than it would have been with 14. So a good move by him. Now you see pressure immediately from Mike Doherty. And Vroman is in 4th now. We missed something that happened to Vroman again. What happened to Jay? let's see here. Jay was ahead of Doherty. He's ahead of Mike Doherty. Oh, he gets a little wide there coming up the hill and just smartly keeps it off the track to let Mike go by before coming back on the racetrack. It's not a fun decision to have to make, but something we appreciate for sure, to be able to, you know, understand that you're giving up the position, just let him go, don't get back on the track too fast and cause an incident. All right, so Kyle is in the lead now. Kyle Macedo leading the race. You see these cars coming through here. Look at everybody, 1, 2, 3, 4 coming through the last tight chicane there. Roman in 4th, Doherty in 3rd, David Macedo in 2nd, and Kyle Macedo in the lead. Let's check on John Snow. John Snow, he passed Marchician. Let's take a look at where that happened. Okay, so it happened a while ago. Alright, so John coming through the slow left-hander, heading towards the hill. He gets on the inside, just gets a little bit better run through there than Andre did. Looked like a little bump there maybe, but they both managed to keep it together. Andre's all over him, but John able to hold on to the position. So good racing by him. Okay, so we got David Macedo challenging Kyle Macedo right here. And of course, Mike Doherty, who started in 6th place, is all the way up to 3rd place and running a great race. It's no surprise to see him, especially in a race that has a lot of tire management to do with it. He's really good at running on old tires. We saw him last Saturday at Brands Hatch. He ran the entire race on one set of tires. It was not pretty at the end. He was not what you would call fast, but his bold strategy managed to get him 2nd place and almost got him the win. Jay ran him down right before the end. So Jay, with a great second half to his race, was able to come away with the win. But Mike Doherty was able to gain a position that way, and it was a really fun battle to watch, seeing who would end up in front at the end there. Okay, so let's take a look on board with Doherty. He's behind the leaders here. Coming in nice and slow down to 1st gear there. You see Jay in the background coming up behind him. Going to climb the hill here. Gains a little bit of time on David Macedo right there. Coming around this high-speed right-hander. Keeps it in check. You see how fast that Bentley is coming over that hill, though. That thing, there's a lot of speed right there for David Macedo. He's able to do really well in that section of the track with that Bentley. You see Doherty catching him through these slow corners here, though. Taking a little look to the inside, but oh, that's a little too tight there. Not a good place to try to pass. So Mike's just looking for any position where he could possibly make it stick. Kyle's got a little bit of a gap in the lead there. He's got a 0.6 second gap right now. Let's take a look on board with Jay. We're 5 laps into the race. 6 laps, excuse me, 6 laps into the race. And we've seen Jay get a little loose a couple of times and end up off the track a couple of times. I don't know if he was really struggling with his setup. He said he wasn't happy with it for this track. We know he's really fast in this Ferrari. He's always one of the fastest, if not the fastest driver on the track. But in these long races where you're managing tires, flat out speed is not the only thing that matters. So you see these guys really tighten it up in the front here. They're running down Kyle. Kyle handling the pressure pretty well, though, staying in first and leading the pack. take a look on board with Kyle. You see his rear view's full of cars. He's got everybody right behind him coming through this high-speed right-hander right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, really close, and you see Jon Snow back there. He's slowly running this group down. As the tires fade and the race goes on, you expect Jon to be right in the hunt. Going to get a really good look at the top 4 right here. All 1, 2, 3, 4 coming through this final chicane. Oh, and Mike Doherty runs a little wide there. Now it's a drag race down the front stretch. Jay's got a little bit of an edge on and Jon Snow is caught up. Jon is right on Doherty now. These guys got a little, I don't know exactly what happened. Mike Doherty ran a little wide. Jay got a little loose maybe. I'm not sure. They're both, but Jay's able to pull it off and take 3rd place. And now Doherty's got to worry about Snow, who's all over him. Snow looking on the inside right there. You see how tight his car is through that turn. He's able to stay right on the apex of the turn, but he ends up having to back out of it. Great racing by these guys. You see Kyle holding on to it. David's not going away. He's right behind him. Okay, so Doherty able to get away from Snow a little bit. Snow's still right on him. Let's take a look on board with Jon. Hunting these guys down. He got hung up behind Andre a little bit back there for a while. And if you look at Andre, he's in 6th place, but he's only 3 seconds off the leaders. So one mistake by any of these guys, and he's right back in the hunt. He's running a really good race. Let's see, Vroman. We're 8 laps into the race, on our 9th lap. Almost to the halfway point of the race here. And this is where it starts to get troublesome for some of these guys on their tires, you know. You see David Macedo get a little wide there, but you kind of see that regularly from him. He takes a lot of turns a little wider than the other guys, but it still manages to maintain a lot of speed through there. So just a little bit of an altered racing line that he likes to run. You see Jay closing in on him a little bit. Jay has the speed. That's not the problem. The problem is, will the tires be worth anything in the second half of the race? So you see him coming up on David Macedo here. David. Whoa, and Vroman ends up getting loose there. Let's take a look at what happened here. He's spent all this time running down David Macedo. He goes over there. Oh, hit the bumper a little too hard, got loose, and there's Mike Doherty right there to scoop up 3rd place. And now Jon Snow is right behind him. So you know, Jay finished 2nd in the first race tonight, but from the way he talked about it, it sounded like it was the worst 2nd place finish he ever had, because by the end of the race, his car was horrible to drive. So setup's just not great for this track, and he's going to be struggling with this car, it looks like, the rest of the race. So we're on our 10th lap now. These guys are really starting to feel it in the tire department. Let's take a look on board with Jay. We'll see how his tires are doing, see if we can see anything here. Yeah, you see him sliding a little there, a little bit of counter steer. He's still nice and quick through there. He's keeping up really well. You see John all over his rear end back there. He's keeping the pressure on. You see Jay sliding through the turn right there. So he's definitely slipping and sliding a little bit with these tires. About 10 laps on them. You see David get a little wide up there. Let's take a look with Mike Doherty. Doherty trying to get past David so that he can see if he has anything for Kyle Macedo. But Kyle seems pretty comfortable up there in the lead. He's doing pretty well, and everything's working out his way right now. Alright, so 10 laps in the books. Let's take a look on board with John Snow. You see Doherty and David Macedo up there. Snow's looking for a way around Vroman. Vroman, I can't tell if Vroman's a little slow right now or if John Snow is just fast. It's hard to say with the amount of wear that they have on their tires. But John, in the first race, ended up winning because he was so much better on tires at the second half of the race. And now we're in the second half of the race, so this is where his race is going to come together for him. He's no doubt thinking, I got to get past Jay so I can try to do something with these leaders up here. Some really great racing by all these guys. And Kyle Macedo, you see a little twitch reaction there to keep it on the track. He's still keeping a pretty good gap in first place right now. Of course, as soon as I switch to his onboard, he's almost losing it in the turn, but looking from the outside, you can't see anything going wrong for Kyle. He's having one hell of a race. He's got a nice gap on second place. He's really, really doing well. It's just up to him to hold it together now. So, you can only hope that you're going to have tires left at the end to put together some decent laps. Let's take a look at David Macedo. You got Doherty on him, and then Vroman, and then Snow. And then we got Marchishin. Marchishin, he's fallen back a little bit. He's 5 seconds back, but he's still in the hunt. Somebody goes off track, he's going to pick it off. So he's doing really well. Had a nice race last Friday night in the rain and horrible, horrible conditions. He ran a really good race in the rain and had some good battles in the middle of the pack. So happy to see him doing well. So there you see David Macedo still being hunted by Mike Doherty. Doherty shows the inside, but I think he's just looking. I don't think he's seriously trying that. But you see Doherty's got a little bit of a gap on Vroman. It's not much of a gap. So these guys, second through fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4. keeping it nice and tight so far. And Kyle Macedo, boy, he's having a heck of a race. He's nice and comfortable out there in the front. Nobody bothering him. Basically, the only enemy he's got right now is the track. You know, can he manage the track and stay consistent? So far, so good. He's got a nice lead. You see Jon Snow, he's on Vroman, but he doesn't really have quite enough speed to take it from him. He's just following him for right now. One more mistake by Jay and he's gonna take that spot for sure. Here's Mike Doherty showing the inside again. Nothing doing there. So the Macedos, Kyle Macedo and David Macedo, running first and second. These guys have found a lot of speed in the last week or so. They first joined us. They were middle of the pack, out of like a 12-man, 13-man field. They were running around 6th and 7th, and boy, they've come to life in the last week. It started with Kyle Macedo in the big race on Saturday. He at Brands Hatch, he was in the top 3 for the first half of the race and battling with the fastest of the fast up there, and unfortunately had a spin that took him out of it. I think he still finished in 5th, if I remember right, but he showed a lot of speed there. And then when we got to this track, he was continuing to show speed, and then as the week went on, David changed cars to the Bentley, and he found a lot of consistency, a lot of speed that he didn't have in that McLaren that he was in before. So good to see he's found the car that he's comfortable in, because the championship starts next week, and once you start, you can't change your car. So good to see he's found a car he likes. You see Mike Doherty's there putting a lot of pressure on him. Doherty over the bumper on the inside right there. Oh boy, and Vroman just, holy smokes, let's take a look at that one more time. Vroman just lost it coming down the backstretch there through the braking zone. He sees behind Doherty, gets over, looking to the inside, and has some kind of mechanical failure and just goes straight through the braking zone. Lucky nobody hit anybody right there. Close call, but everybody walked away from it, so that's good. That's good. So let's take a look. David's still, he's not that far off of Kyle, but Kyle, you get the feeling he's very comfortable up there. He's, you know, some drivers are not that comfortable being in the lead. They start thinking of all the things that can go wrong instead of just focusing on what they're doing. But Kyle, he looks comfortable. He looks pretty satisfied where he's at. You see Mike Doherty continuing to hunt David, and Jon Snow is now right on Mike Doherty after Jay had that incident. Jay is still, let's see, he's 2 seconds off Snow. But yeah, you can see he's struggling with his tires. If we go on board here, take a quick look. You can see him slipping and sliding pretty good. Now, while we were riding with Vroman, we missed out on Mike Doherty making a move on David Macedo. So Macedo coming through here on this long right-hander. He ends up on the outside like he kind of has all race. That's been his racing line. But Doherty's able to gain a little bit of speed on him coming into this slow right-hander. And he's able to edge him out. He's nice and tight, still maintaining good speed. You see Macedo in the mirror there. Just falls in behind him. Great move by Doherty, nice and smooth. You know, at this point of the race, all these guys are battling, you know, traction. So I don't know if David was a little bit loose on his tires right there, or if that outside line that he's been using all race kind of slowed him down more on more worn tires. We're not sure, but or maybe Doherty's just getting faster. I mean, this is his time of the race. The second half of the race is when he kind of shows what he's got. You can see Kyle Macedo up in front of Doherty. He's got a 2.3 lead on Doherty. We've got about 4 laps to go. So we're approaching the end of the race. I mean, 4 laps is a long time around this track, but I don't know if it's long enough for Doherty to run down Macedo unless Macedo makes a mistake. So, all right, you see 2 through 4th still keeping it nice and tight, and now David Macedo's got trouble. He's got Jon Snow all over him. Yeah, David had a fantastic race pace in the first half of the race. His pace was solid. He was able to stay in the front the whole time, but he's slowly starting to lose that pace to a couple of the guys that are better on worn tires. We got Doherty and Snow, which on this track have both shown they're really good on worn tires. So it's a tough position for David, knowing that maybe he's not as consistently fast as he was earlier. You see John get right on him right there. Let's take a look for on board for John. Up there you see Kyle Macedo climbing the hill, followed by Mike Doherty, David Macedo in front of Jon Snow, and we're on board with John. So the 2 Bentleys battling it out for 3rd place. You know, David might have slowed down some, but he's still running a great racing line. It's really hard to make a move on a guy when he's in the right part of the track the whole time. So we saw Doherty get around him when he went a little wide on that slow right-hand turn. The fast right-hander and then into the slow right-hander. Doherty was able to get it done on those 2 turns. But it's going to be a challenge for John. Meanwhile, Kyle Macedo has opened up the gap to 2.9 seconds, so he's still doing just fine on the tires he's on. He's running some really nice laps. You see the even match between these 2 Bentleys. Maybe a little bit of help from the slipstream, but if there is, it's not much. Really close down the stretch. I don't know if John made up any time during that whole front stretch. Maybe just a tiny bit, but you see this is where David Macedo lost it to Doherty earlier, but you see John's running the same line. He gets a little wide there, coming through here to the slow right-hander. These guys are running similar racing lines. You see John keeping it a little tighter. I think John's setup is a little better for this track. I think that's why his tires have lasted better throughout the race, because his setup is just on point. And you can't even see Kyle Macedo up there. He has really, really been moving. He's running a great race. Let's take a look on board with Mike Doherty. And of course, as soon as I change to the other driver, something happens here. Alright, so we're riding on board with Dan Macedo. Let's check out Jon Snow. He's right on him. Coming through that high-speed right-hander. Both look pretty good through there, but John's got a little bit of a run on him. David maintains his line. Oh, and he just overshoots the braking zone right there. Just overshot it. So John's able to take the position. So John was at one point running in last place behind Andre, excuse me, not last place, sixth place, behind Andre Marchician, and was battling with Marchician. He's moved all the way up into third place now. There's about 1 to 2 laps left to go. So these guys are pretty spread out. I don't know if anybody's going to be able to make a move. Oh, excuse me. The race is already over. The race is already over. So let's go back and take a look at our leader taking the checkered flag here. We got Kyle Macedo running the best race he's ran since he's been in our league, with a pretty comfortable finish, probably the most comfortable finish we've seen, except maybe when Vroman won at Brands Hatch. So you see Kyle Macedo coming down the front stretch for the victory, Mike Doherty behind him, John Snow coming in third, David Macedo in fourth, and Jay Vroman in fifth. What a great race by these guys. The first half of this race was just incredibly close. Some great racing by everybody. All right, so great race, guys. Let's take a look at the you see a little bump between brothers there after the race. Let's take a look at the start of the race. I always like to go back and give credit where credit is due, and the only way you can have a race this good, this clean, is with a clean start. And our guys have been incredible. You see the green flag there. You see David Macedo actually started behind Vroman a decent bit, but he gets a really good start. Coming around the outside here, Vroman stays way down on the inside, maybe because he knows he didn't get the start that he wanted, and David just easily takes the lead away from him there. Another great start by Andre Marchician. Sorry, Andre. One of these days I'm going to get your name right. Great start by him. Some great racing by everybody tonight. Really, really good stuff. We look forward to Saturday night's race. Can't wait to see what that's going to bring. If we go back to the beginning here, let's take a look on board with Kyle Macedo. So coming down, everybody's formed up nice. Kyle starting in third place. Jay's taking them in nice and slow. Everybody's formed up really good. You can see good start there by David Macedo, and Kyle, at first he's not sure which way to go. Then he jumps in behind David, who's a little bit faster. Jay never moved to the outside line. He just wasn't willing to risk it, so he takes the turn a little slower and easily gives up first place. So you see Kyle, he's our eventual winner here, running a little wide on this turn, trying to get all the speed he can out of it. And you see Andre Marchician right on him. Some good racing by these two guys. And you see Jay starting to pick up the pace. He's got the pressure on David Macedo. But a great race by everybody. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching our races. Make sure you subscribe so you can see all of our races as we go throughout the season. We've got a great slate of races coming up. We got an eight race championship. Um, all the races in those 8 races will count for points. We got some great tracks. We do have a night race. Our 7th race of the season is going to be a night race, so that's going to be really fun and really challenging. Hope you guys are all there for it. And thanks for watching. Everybody have a great weekend.